Seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, is a mood disorder whereby people experience symptoms of depression and ill mental health when winter draws around. Most suggest this is a product of dark nights and cold days, but as a Wales fan, I know better. The true cause of any winter depression is simply proximity to the Australia game, a fixture that has caused those in red nothing but distress and trauma for 10 whole years. And so, in a weekend where Chris Ashton played for England, Beauden Barrett dropped a goal and Tommy Allen scored a superb individual try, it takes some doing to pull off the most unlikely event of the rugby weekend. But Wales beating Australia for the first time in 14 games and 10 years was just that. The game itself was the kind of match pundits like to describe as for the purists, but I am a purist, so here are the 5 steps Wales took on Saturday to break the unbreakable curse put on them by Rolf Harris.
Number 1.
Some questioned Gatland's team selection in the week, as he opted to select inexperienced players such as Adams plural and Adam singular, the latter being only the second beard given the chance to wrap his arms all around Israel Folau after his wife Maria. However, as I discussed in last week's Warren Gatland video, his team selection was actually slightly ingenious. By trying these players, he's now building towards a point in which all 31 players in his probable World Cup squad next year will have started against one of the Big Five, granting them invaluable experience against Wales' main rivals for the World Cup. Adam Beard did everything asked of him, and Josh Adams really stood out, punching holes ball in hand and defending superbly, whilst Gareth Anscombe had the chance to see out a tight game in a Welsh shirt for the first time.
2.
For the last 8 years, open side extraordinaire and my best friend Sam Warburton has been the best breakdown operator in the Northern Hemisphere, a crooked-nosed king of stealing and slowing ball. So how do you replace a player like that? The short answer is you don't. At least not with one man. Despite facing possibly the 2 best sevens in the world, Wales managed to outsmart Australia at the breakdown by spreading what may have previously been considered Warburton's workload amongst the entire team. Particular standout for me was loosehead Nicky Smith, who seemed possessed by the ghost of Gethin Jenkins, haunting breakdown after breakdown after breakdown. However, even the likes of Lee Halfpenny, who's about as likely to win a turnover as he is a game against Australia, were going in to slow down the Australian ball, giving Wales time to set their defence. Contrast this, when David Pocock and Michael Hooper entered the Welsh breakdown, as many as 5 Welsh players would go in to clear them out. But once about the game, their ball is safe for a few phases. Australia had to commit to one threat after another, making it inevitable they'd be unable to get a heavyweight in time to prevent Tipuric nicking the ball. I would like to kiss Shaun Edwards' face. I'm not fussed where on his glorious chrome bonds, but I want to finally listen to everyone who says I talk too quickly and let my mouth work its way round his glistening Christian cranium oh so slowly. Wales defended wave after wave after wave after, showing real intelligence. Australia rarely managed more than 10 metres with the ball in hand, and even their best attacks were snuffed out comfortably. This is the first time all year a team has prevented Australia scoring a try, and they've played the 2 best teams in the world 3 times each. That said, who needs a well-aligned defence when the Australians drop the ball and shit themselves the moment they see Alun Wyn Jones in the defensive line? Well, except for David Pocock, who probably upset his right wing by committing this act of blasphemy. Australia is a little bit bigger than a village, and yet Ned Hannigan manages to be the entire nation's local idiot. He gave away the penalty that lost Australia the match, but it wasn't indiscipline, it was laziness and stupidity. Kudos to Dylan Lewis for pinning him in, preventing the man who must be the only person called Ned playing professional sport from rolling away, forcing a penalty. But unless jet lag's still getting to him, there's no reason for Hannigan to continue lying all over that breakdown. He has a second to try and move away, but even after that, the least he could do is wiggle a bit and show the referee he's trying to move. But no, Big Ned just lies there, motionless, putting in less effort than a dying fish. This gives Wales an opportunity to steal the game. And of course, they take it. On the other end of the spectrum, and indeed pitch, Australia turned down 2 very kickable penalties in the second half, and were turned over right away following both their decisions to go for the corner. In a game where points were of a premium, these 2 decisions were absolutely bizarre by Hooper, and ones that even Vice-Captain Will Genia disagreed with. But then, with the ball, Wales executed overlaps efficiently, creating occasional space in a game where there was none. They worked phase in the middle of the pitch, whilst holding the width by having the 2 wingers wait on the far extremes. This culminated in the best chance of the game, as the Australian defence was drawn in by Wales playing 8 phases in the middle of the pitch, leaving space out wide that Anscombe and Josh Adams almost made the most of. Australia, however, struggled to generate quick ball because of Wales' breakdown work, but even when they did, it was only a matter of time before they either blew them chance themselves by having a prop get involved, or they had the very efficient Welsh defence do it for them.
5.
This is possibly the all-time mentally strongest Welsh side without sideburns. Not since the days in which they could just turn to Guard, Benny, JPR, JJ and co. and just go on, one of you wins the game. Has Wales been so adept at actually winning rugby matches? Even when they've had a better team in better form, Wales haven't been this good at winning. It's taken Gatland 10 years to instill this mentality in his team, but bit by bit, he's managed it. Beat Tonga next week, and Wales head into the South Africa game looking for their first ever autumn clean sweep. Pull that off, and they're heading into the Six Nations, one game off their best winning streak since before the start of the First World War, because the big monkey is off their back, and now Wales essentially have nothing to fear. The Australia game might have a history of causing great worry and strife, but this Wales team could be the bright spark the nation needs in these cold days and dark nights. Hello again, it's me. I'm still here. I haven't had many chances to make a video on Wales being Australia, so I thought I'd make the most of it. I've also got one coming up in the next few days on the England-New Zealand game that I am about to go back to working on. But I just thought I'd sit here for a moment and say to you all, I'm very tired and really quite hungry. So I hope you'll appreciate it. Likewise though, I do appreciate everyone on Patreon that supported me, because that means I've been able to do this. That means I've been able to actually put myself in a position in which I can spend full consecutive days from 6:30 in the morning till about 1 AM working on these videos. So I really appreciate that. Thank you. You have led me to find out I'm a sociopath. Otherwise, I've got another one coming up in the next few days. In the meantime, if you want to head to Rugby Warfare, you can get 20% off, just as 20% off missing from my brain and ability to speak right now. 20% off at the checkout, SQ20. Until then, what?